The Council of Galactic Unity had stood for 12,000 cycles, governing 700 species across 43 sectors. In all that time, no single species had ever been labeled quarantine level Omega until humanity. Imelda Chen stood at the observation deck of the human diplomatic vessel Prometheus, watching the assembled alien fleet through reinforced transperistal. 300 warships from a dozen different civilizations hung in the void, like predators circling wounded prey. Except humanity wasn't wounded. Humanity was something far more terrifying. "They're hailing us again," Tiberius Kovac said from the communications console, his weathered face illuminated by holographic displays. The former Earth Defense Force commander had seen more combat than most soldiers saw in 10 lifetimes. "The Vrethic Prime Minister demands we submit to galactic law and open our borders." Imelda turned from the viewport, her dark eyes reflecting the cold light of distant stars. "Tell them what we told the last delegation. Human space remains closed. Any vessel that crosses the boundary will not return." Tiberius nodded grimly. He'd delivered that same message 47 times in the past 3 months. 47 times, the galaxy had ignored it. 47 times, ships had attempted to breach the quarantine zone. None had ever sent a distress signal. The truth was simple and horrifying. Humanity had spent centuries in isolation, and the galaxy had forgotten what made them dangerous. They'd forgotten the reports from first contact, when a single human colony ship had defended itself against a Krellian raiding fleet. They'd forgotten how humans had turned their own star system into an impenetrable fortress, within 50 years of discovering faster-than-light travel. But they were about to remember. "Commander Chen," a young ensign called out, his voice tight with tension. "We have a breach. 17 Vrethic destroyers just crossed the boundary near Sector 7. Imelda's expression didn't change. "Time to the Cooper defense grid." 90 seconds, Tiberius replied, his fingers dancing across tactical displays. The Vrethic were apex predators in their own right, 8-foot-tall reptilians, who'd conquered 40 worlds before humanity had even discovered fire. Their ships were built for war, their crews trained from hatching to kill without hesitation. They'd come expecting to find a primitive species cowering behind outdated defenses. They found something else entirely. The human Cooper defense grid was invisible until activated. Billions of autonomous defense platforms scattered across the outer solar system, each one smaller than a personal transport, each one carrying enough firepower to crack a moon. Humanity had learned a valuable lesson during their isolation. The best defense wasn't a wall. It was an ocean of death that looked like empty space. Grid activation in 3, 2, 1. Tiberius pulled up the tactical feed. For a moment, nothing changed. The Vrethic fleet continued its aggressive advance, weapons charging, communications broadcasting demands for surrender. Then space came alive. The defense platforms didn't fire lasers or missiles. Those were predictable, defendable. Instead, they released clouds of what appeared to be metallic dust, billions upon billions of microscopic machines, each one programmed with a single purpose: disassemble. The Vrethic destroyers' shields flared as the nanite swarms made contact. For 5 seconds, their defensive systems held. Then the shields collapsed, and the swarms began their work. Imelda watched without emotion as 17 warships simply came apart. Not exploded, that would have been merciful. Instead, they were methodically deconstructed at the molecular level, their hulls separating into component atoms, their crews dissolved before they could even scream. Within 3 minutes, there was nothing left but expanding clouds of elemental particles. "Dear God," the young ensign whispered. "No," Imelda said quietly. "Not God, just humans." The communication console erupted with panic transmissions from the surrounding fleet. Ships that had been positioning for attack suddenly reversed thrust, retreating to minimum safe distance. The Vrethic Prime Minister's voice came through, no longer demanding, but pleading. "We didn't know." The translator rendered the hissing alien speech into flat, emotionless English. "The old records said humans were primitive. You thought wrong." Tiberius cut him off. "Humanity spent 100 years alone, surrounded by a galaxy that wanted us dead or enslaved. We didn't spend that time building monuments or writing poetry. We spent it preparing for war. Imelda stepped closer to the communications ray. "Tell the council this. Human space is closed not because we fear you. It's closed because we're trying to protect you. From us." She gestured to Tiberius, who brought up a holographic display. It showed humanity's inner system: Earth, Mars, Venus, the asteroid colonies. Every single celestial body was covered in construction, layer upon layer of industry and weaponry. The moon had been hollowed out and converted into a weapons platform. Mars hosted atmospheric processors that doubled as planetary-scale particle beam emitters. Venus's toxic atmosphere concealed thousands of automated defense stations. But that wasn't the terrifying part. During our isolation, Imelda continued, we calculated every possible threat scenario: invasion, bombardment, biological warfare, temporal incursion, dimensional breach. We prepared for everything. The Cooper grid is our outermost defense, the warning shot. If you'd made it past that, you'd have faced the Oort cloud arsenal. Past that, the planetary defense matrix. Past that, she let the sentence hang. Tiberius filled the silence. Past that, you'd have faced Earth itself. Every human on that planet has been genetically modified for combat survival. Every city is a fortress. Every civilian is trained for war. We turned our homeworld into a weapon. The alien fleet was fully retreating now. Their formation broken, their confidence shattered. But why? The Vrethic Prime Minister managed. Why such extremes? The galaxy has known peace for peace. Imelda's laugh was bitter. You call it peace because no one threatens you anymore. The strong devour the weak, and you pretend it's civilization. We chose a different path. We chose to become so dangerous that even the strong think twice. She looked out at the retreating fleet, at the galaxy beyond that had once seemed so vast and full of wonder. Now it just seemed small, manageable, containable. Humanity doesn't seek conquest, she said softly. We don't want your worlds or your resources. We just want to be left alone. And we've built enough weapons to ensure no one ever forgets that again. The communication link went dead. The fleet continued its retreat. And in human space, automated systems powered down, returning to their eternal vigil. Tiberius stood beside Imelda at the viewport. You think they'll actually leave us alone now? Imelda was quiet for a long moment, watching the stars. No, but at least now they'll think twice before crossing the line. And that's enough. In the void between stars, humanity waited patient, prepared, and utterly, terrifyingly alone.